Hi, my name is Hannes. We're looking at WiseFish 7 and I want to show you the quality module. We're gonna sort of split this into two. First, we're gonna look at the setup and how a supervisor in a company would set up inspections, and then I'm gonna show you how to make an inspection on a daily basis. Okay, let's just quickly do the thing where I can make an inspection. Uh, Let's say I call my inspection a test 2, and I want to add some questions that the worker should answer, such as weight, weight of weight of the sample I'm doing, or in this case weight of something that has been purchased into the company, weight of a shipment, and then maybe recorded weight. That is to say, if I'm putting this on a scale and I want to record it. Let's say I want to record it to be first, so I'll change my mind here and say rearrange things. Now the recorded weight is first, and then the purchase invoice comes next. Then I want to add a little stuff to the equation and say, well, find me the difference of those two. So I'll put in weight difference, and then last, well, let's say we just have 3 as a start. In order to have a calculated item, because I want to calculate this one, I will have to say what affects it. So I'll say, okay, those two affect it. This one affects it in a way that it's actually, I'm gonna say, take the purchased weight, say that's a 10, and subtract the received. So I have to put a multiplication factor of -1 here. I'll say quickly show you how this works, and put one here, say weight difference again, and this is just a 1. I close this. Now I want to see how the worker sees it, the person that will be doing this. So I'm gonna enter that area. Here is where you record an inspection, and I'm gonna say, okay, P37, which is 370, which is a quality item. Click recording. Here is where the user is asked all the questions. I can say 9, 10, and look, the system gives me 1. I close this, I go back, and I say, okay, I want to look at the inspection again, and I want to say, I want one more thing. I want weight difference in percentages. Okay, I can quickly add that. So I'll say weight percentage of invoiced, and then I'll say this one is actually a numerator, and I'll say, because it's a percentage, it's now 100 multiplication factor, while here it's a denominator. So this is now denominator, and it's a 1. Okay, now I'm going back and I'm inspecting again. This is where the worker puts their parameters. P370. Recording. Okay, now the user has 4 questions. I'll put in here again 9, 10, and you can see that the received of invoice is now 90%, and you can see how I can, of course, um, complicate that easily. Now we're down to 18%. The weight difference is 41, etc. Okay, did you understand any of that really? Okay, didn't. Um, this is me trying to show you really quickly how the setup works. Um, the setup is a list of a lot of things. The weight that I was showing you is sitting somewhere here. It's right there. Let's look at that question. Here I can see how I've set up some questions, or as we call them, quality details. This is just weight. Um, it's a real number, and we haven't put any other. There are no restrictions on it. There could be restrictions, a maximum or a minimum, like in HACCP, change limits, maximum minimums. There could also be a default. Okay, so we can set all those up if we want to. Um, we can also set up things like texture. Let's look at that. Here we call that a reference. And what are the references here that we've set up? It's either a plus or a minus. That is to say, the person doing the inspection can answer this with a plus, meaning it's good to bite the product, or minus, it's actually soft, it isn't frozen enough, or something like that. Okay. Um, one more maybe. Let's just say taste. Let's look at that one. Here, and again, this is HACCP compliant. It's quite often that you want to set up questions with the possible and with predefined answers. Here we have 5 predefined answers. 5 means it's sweet, and it's fresh and sweet, the product, and it's this is the best quality. 4 is still good, still gets the same value. 3 isn't really a particular taste, and so on. And as I said, I've set this all up. This is all just editable. If I want to add some more here, and then just do that. Okay. So let's try to understand how it all fits together in a real example here. Here's a real shrimp inspection. We put it into this list. We put a name to it, and when the user is inspecting, he will go in here into the shrimp inspection. Uh, he will then get a list of. We've added all those things here with all kinds of stuff. I'm just looking at the setup here, and there are some calculation details here behind the things. So when the worker goes in and says registration, which is his typical working area, he gets a window like that where he is supposed to put parameters of this inspection, such as who is who are you working for, what's your producer code. Of course, those things are typically just um, or many of them, as we say, can be populated automatically, but you still want to add some of them manually, such as maybe a pallet number and an item number that you are inspecting. Um, and again, you can now enter the information there if they apply. If it doesn't apply, you can just skip it. You are asked for the next thing you do is to record your inspection, and here I am recording real inspection. And for example, the first question here is how heavy is a bag? And I'll say it's at 10 kilos and 70 grams. How many whole shrimps did you count? Maybe 500. It's maybe a little bit too much. How many broken shrimps or bits and pieces of the 500? Well, okay, I had 30. Okay, the little window that comes up here is saying, look, you have to put some explanations. There are too many. And this is because I have passed the danger limits, and I've set up this question in a way that if I do that, then the user has to put a comment there. So any comment is valid. So I'll just say, look, electricity elect electricity issues now. Okay. Okay. Actually, yeah, 500 and then 30, and this equals 530. The system did that for me. How many grams are the bits? They might be, let's say they are maybe 50. Then the sample size is default. I can also say, look, it's actually 450, and the system does the bits percentage for me. How many percentage are the bit grams then? So they, 450 or 50 divided by 450. And then I just go down the list and answer my questions. What's the sample weight with glaze? It might be 511, something like that. And without glaze, and then it finds out what's the glaze. Glaze meaning, frozen water on the product. So this is a glaze test. Defects, clumps frozen together. That's to say two shrimps frozen together, three shrimps frozen together. The taste, if I just put 5 there, it's easy. And then the texture was a plus because the allowable answers here are plus and minus. I can see that. If I just say, hey, look, actually in this case, it was actually terrible. It was answer number 1 here, just to see the difference. Then the system gives me uh, or asked me to put a comment there. Hey, look, again, the forklift broke down. So if I just look at this one more time, I say no, and I go to the very beginning. I'm looking at a list of quality inspections. Here is my shrimp inspection. I want to perform a shrimp inspection, so I go here and I either populate a new line or just look at something that I've done before. So click recording here, and here are my questions to the shrimp quality inspection with the numbers I was just putting in. Okay. Let's say now that I want to print this out quickly. Let's say I want a pallet inspection report, and I print this out in a PDF. Okay. Then I get this thing here, and I can actually see that I've already made 3 inspections for this pallet. Uh, um, yeah, okay. These are previous inspections, and I can just see they have a number. There's an item number on it, etc. You can mix items on pallets as we are mentioning the item. Here are just things from the header, who did the inspection, etc. And then here are the answers. Is the texture plus or minus, and how, just how are the answers? Is it a 5 or whatever for those things here, etc. And here are my comments. So if I fall out of the norm, and the comment window I was just getting, then the system shows the comments here. And this is pretty much how you make the inspections. So the idea is that you can have inspections. You can record the inspections, for example, per pallet, per lot, per producer. You can see who performed the inspections and when. There's a registration date and time here. but there's also a production date. So if you maybe produced this yesterday and you're recording it today, you can do that. Production, the Julian date works pretty much the way that if you put a 3001 here, then that's the first day, 1st of January 2013, and then this is the 1st of January 2014, and so on. And if you put a 365 here, this is like the number of the day in the year. You see, then you get 31st of December. Yeah, as I say, it's a place to make quality inspections. I think we're just done here for now. Maybe one thing I want to mention though is that we do have stuff like if I just drag a window from the side here. Here I'm in the user setup, and I can see that I'm set up with a profile called master. And if I want to look at the master, and I can see the master is a quality control user. It's a recorder. So the other options are to be recorder or supervisor. I'm just dragging this a little bit. Here it is. And the meaning of it is really that the supervisor is able to post inspections, sort of put them into archive if you like, while the recorder is only capable of recording them and maybe confirming them, but he can't really process them all the way through. So there is a little bit of functionality in user restrictions. Yeah, and there is also a thing I want to mention, such as and we've had it in the past. I'm not maybe gonna go into it now, but we've had companies that like to um, maybe select pallets on an invoice, on a sales invoice, and then they want to say, look, give me all quality inspections that relate to products that are now sitting on this invoice, because they might want to send that to the end customer. And then we pretty much take in report like the pallet report I was just showing you, and printed that out for the invoice and send it with the goods. So this, at least, this gives you the ability to connect quality to your products in an efficient way.